Okay, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Okay, kita akan go live dalam 5 minit lagi. Kita tunggu semua hadirin masuk dulu, join dulu di session and then dalam about 2-5 minit petang kita start, okay? Saya boleh mula masa ni. Okay, sebelum kita mulakan. Okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Selamat petang dan selamat datang kepada semua yang hadir pada webinar hari ini. Okay, webinar kita bertajuk Investing in Your Future, which is a guide to scholarships. 2023. Di mana webinar kita hari ini akan membicarakan tentang beasiswa yang available, beasiswa yang akan dibuka tahun ini kepada pelajar-pelajar yang akan ambil result pada tahun ini. Okey, saya harap anda semua, adik-adik semua dalam keadaan yang sihat dan bersedia untuk menjalani webinar yang menarik pada hari ini. Okey, nama saya Hasrina and it is my pleasure to be your MC for today. Okey, webinar ini bertujuan untuk memberikan panduan dan tips dalam memohon beasiswa memandangkan tak silap saya keputusan akan keluar pada 8 Jun 2023 dan memandangkan result akan keluar dalam masa seminggu lagi. So kita akan bagi exposure dekat adik-adik untuk tahu lebih lanjut tentang beasiswa yang tersedia yang boleh boleh di-apply, boleh dimohon. Okay. Cakap pasal result mesti everyone like macam nervous, macam berdebar, risau, macam excited pun ada nak tahu result, tak sabar nak masuk universiti, tak sabar nak sambung belajar kan. So saya doakan kejayaan milik kita semua insyaAllah. Okay, kami amat berbesar hati dan kepada kami Taylor amat berbesar hati untuk membentangkan sesi ini yang disertakan oleh Puan Sharifah Nurmawati yang akan memberikan informasi lanjut berkenaan beasiswa yang akan dibentang sebentar lagi kepada pelajar-pelajar dan adik-adik SPM yang akan ambil result nanti. Dan dalam masa sama bukan beasiswa saja, kami akan juga berkongsi tips yang berguna kepada semua peserta. Dalam masa yang sama kami juga berasa bangga dapat memberi peluang untuk memberi dan mendengar perkongsian pengalaman daripada seorang pelajar Bank Negara Malaysia iaitu Akil Kishan yang telah menjadi penerima beasiswa TELUS. Alright, okay, sekejap ya. Okay, ini agenda kita hari ni. Okay, kalau tengok balik agenda pada webinar hari ni, okay, kita akan ada taklimat penajaan luaran beasiswa yang tersedia dan tips temu duga yang akan diterangkan oleh Puan Sharifah Nurmawati kita. Dan kita akan ada sesi soal. Okay, kita akan berikan perkongsian tips oleh Akil Kishan dan di akhir akan ada student sharing dan akan Q&A session, maafkan saya, kita akan ada Q&A session. Okay, so masa taklimat diberikan, fokus, take note, nanti bila nak sambil mendengar taklimat tu just letak aja apa-apa pertanyaan di ruang komen, kami akan take note at the end of the briefing. Kita orang akan baca dan go through soalan adik-adik semua. Okay, so just keep letak, jangan risau, kami akan fokus pada soalan anda akan dijawab pada akhir sesi nanti. Alright. Saya berharap adik-adik semua akan dapat manfaat daripada webinar ini. Mari kita sama-sama belajar dan mendapat panduan yang berguna untuk melabur, which is ini adalah panduan yang berguna adik-adik nak sambung belajar yang perlukan scholarship. Go for your application untuk apply scholarship, jangan lepaskan peluang. Result dah cantik, result okay, try to get your scholarship, okay? Okay, tanpa membuang masa lagi, so let's start. Kita mulakan webinar kita yang bertajuk Investing in Your Future, A Guide to Scholarship 2023. So, kita serahkan sesi ini kepada Puan Sharifah Nurmawati untuk bentangkan kita panggil sebagai beasiswa luaran. Okay, silakan Puan Sharifah.
Okay, terima kasih Hasrina. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Terima kasih kepada semua yang hadir pada hari ini. Nama saya Sharifah Nurmawati. Saya menjaga pelajar tajaan, pelbagai tajaan yang dihantar ke TELUS. In case nanti salah seorang daripada anda semua datang ke TELUS nanti, so awak akan di bawah jagaan saya lah. InsyaAllah akan jadi anak-anak saya nanti kat sana. Okay, saya rasa amat bertuah hari ni kerana dapat berkongsi sedikit maklumat berkaitan scholarship bagi pelajar lepasan SPM. So insyaAllah SPM akan keluar 8 Jun, tak lama lagi seminggu nak keluar. So hopefully semua orang akan dapat result yang bagus. So gunakan peluang ni untuk gain knowledge dan lepas ni prepare yourself untuk apply scholarship yang akan keluar nanti. Okey, ada tak daripada sini orang daripada Sabah ataupun Sarawak? Mungkin boleh letak dekat komen. Okey, saya just nak terima kasih kalau ada orang datang daripada Sabah dan Sarawak. Sebab hari ni, semalam dan hari ni sebenarnya ada Sabah dan Sarawak cuti Pesta Keamatan semalam dan Hari Kawai hari ni. Tapi masih lagi sudi datang untuk join kita punya webinar pada hari ni. Terima kasih. Okey, tanpa melengah masa, saya akan share dulu berkaitan Taylor's University. Okey, Taylor's University sebenarnya telah lama mendukung aspirasi negara untuk mendidik dan membentuk generasi masa hadapan supaya menjadi modal insan yang lengkap serta serba kompetitif. Okey. Kejap ya. Okey, so sebagai IPTS terawal di Malaysia itu pada tahun 1969, Taylor's kini merupakan universiti swasta terbaik di Malaysia selama 3 tahun berturut-turut mengikut QS World Ranking University. Selain itu juga, Taylor's juga adalah top 50 in Asia, satu-satunya universiti swasta yang mendapat top 50 in Asia dalam QS Asia Ranking 2023. Selain itu juga, kami berdiri bersama universiti terkenal di dunia iaitu kedudukan global 284, di mana ini meletakkan kami 1% teratas antara universiti yang terpengaruh di seluruh dunia. Taylor's University yang paling terkenal adalah our facilities. Kita ada world class facilities. So I will share some facilities yang kita ada. Ini adalah career services. Kita ada satu department career services who taking care of our student to ensure dia orang dapat good employment. Selain itu kita ada counselling and psychology service. Kita ada lecture theatre. Our lecture theatre is actually all lecture theatre is all recorded. So makna dia sebagai contoh kelas awak bermula pada 10 sampai 12. In case awak tak sempat nak catch up any of the apa yang lecturer ajar, after the class awak boleh buka awak punya student portal dan tengok balik the actual class because we download, it's recorded and you can download dan tengok dekat student portal. So senang untuk proses pembelajaran lah. Ini library kita. So library kita sangat menarik. Nanti boleh datang Taylor's tengok kita punya library. Kita ada student life center. So ini adalah tempat untuk student beristirahat sementara tunggu next class. Kita ada juga sport recreation center, sick bay. Atris kita ada 3 tingkat which is boleh memang hari-hari boleh cari tempat makan yang menarik hari-hari. Okay, dan kita ada juga grand hall. Uni gym, then some of our facilities, health facilities, then external scholarship. Okay, go to the main agenda which is about our external scholarship untuk pelajar lepasan SPM. Okay, saya akan mulakan dengan scholarship JPA. Okay, scholarship JPA ni sebenarnya adalah program persediaan. Dia akan bermula daripada program persediaan hingga ijazah pertama. Maknanya dia program ni adalah program berkembar. Pelajar akan memulakan program persediaan di bawah tajaan JPA dan mereka kena meet certain requirement lah. Sebagai contoh, kalau A-level student kena dapatkan 2A 1B, kalau untuk foundation program kena dapat 3.75 dan akan dinaik taraf ke program ijazah pertama. So program untuk ijazah pertama, pinjaman JPA tawarkan pinjaman boleh ubah. Makna pinjaman boleh ubah dekat sini bila pelajar habis belajar, sebagai contoh jika pelajar bekerja dengan kerajaan, it's become 100% scholarship. Tapi kalau awak bekerja dengan GLC sebagai contoh Petronas atau Gamuda, you have to pay 20% back. Dan kalau awak kerja dengan private, awak kena bayar balik 50%. Tapi kalau awak tak bekerja dekat Malaysia, awak tak serve Malaysia, awak kerja overseas, you have to pay back 100%. So pengajian tu awak boleh buat dalam negara, sama ada di universiti awam atau dekat IPTS. Dan peringkat persediaan sehingga ijazah pertama. Okey, untuk program JPA ini, menariknya JPA tawarkan semua program. Pelajar boleh mohon semua program. Sebagai contoh, bila awak explore nanti, bila check certain requirement scholarship, contoh sebagai contoh lah awak nak ambil medical program. Tak semua sponsor yang offer medical. Hanya certain program je. So JPA offer termasuk medical program. Tapi JPA tak tawarkan untuk pendidikan. sebab dia dah ada IPG sendiri, so dia orang tak tawarkan penerbangan, kejururawatan, separa perubatan, khusus profesional, program yang dilaksanakan secara berkembar. So contoh dia macam awak buat setahun dekat Malaysia dan 2 tahun overseas. So yang tu JPA tak cover lah. Dia ada syarat umum dengan syarat khusus. Untuk syarat umum adalah warga negara Malaysia, kesihatan mesti baik, dan SPM buat kali pertama pada tahun 2022. Umur belum mencapai 19 tahun ataupun 20 tahun bagi peralihan, dan ibu bapa tidak disenarai hitam oleh JPA dan tidak boleh menerima pentajaan lain pada peringkat yang sama. Sebagai contoh, bila awak start permohonan, awak boleh apply mana-mana scholarship yang ada. Sebagai contoh, awak apply Shell, awak apply Petronas, awak apply Maybank, semua scholarship tu awak boleh apply. Tapi at the end of bila awak dah dapat semua keputusan tu, awak cuma pilih satu sahaja yang terbaik untuk awak lah. Itu makna dia sekarang ni. Okey, syarat khusus, sekurang-kurangnya mendapat 9A+ di dalam mana-mana subjek dan memulakan persediaan pada 31 Disember. Maknanya dia dalam tahun ni juga awak kena start memulakan program persediaan awak. Okey, untuk program JPA ni, JPA dia bergabung dengan dia semak senarai nama pelajar yang mendapat 9A+ dengan Majlis Peperiksaan Malaysia. Jadi senarai nama pelajar akan diletakkan dalam website JPA. So, bila sebagai contoh, saya dapat 8A, awak dapat 9A+. Bila saya nak mohon, saya akan buka website JPA, saya masukkan maklumat saya, masukkan nama, masukkan IC, dan saya tak boleh go through sebab result saya cuma 8A. Tapi sebagai contoh, awak dapat 9A+, bila awak masuk, awak terus automatik boleh proceed untuk apply JPA scholarship. Okay, so nama tu akan terpapar dekat JPA website. So dengan bangganya boleh share dekat IG, wah dapat sekolah JPA, keluar nama dekat JPA website. So tu satu kebanggaan tu. Okay, next yang paling penting ni, kadar allowance. Mungkin boleh screenshot siapa yang nak tahu details allowance dia. So untuk detail allowance untuk sponsor JPA, masa program persediaan, JPA akan cover full tuition fee, dia akan bagi accommodation, dia akan bagi allowance juga 430 setiap bulan. Okey, kadar allowance yang saya letak kat sini adalah kadar allowance untuk degree program. So kadar dia bergantung kepada A dengan B. Kadar A adalah untuk kawasan termasuk Kuala Lumpur, Pulau Pinang, Seberang Perai, Johor Bahru, Shah Alam, Subang Jaya, Petaling Jaya, Kelang, Kajang, Selayang, Sepang, Sabah dan Sarawak. So kalau awak tengok dekat sini, ijazah pertama awak akan dapat in total 8,400. Makna dia, amount dia adalah 700 setiap bulan. Cuma ada special sikit untuk pelajar perubatan, pergigian dan farmasi, awak akan dapat 770 setiap bulan. Selain itu ada allowance lain juga yang awak akan dapat. Okay, next. Okay, ni adalah website JPA. So, bila SPM result dikeluarkan, awak boleh cek dekat JPA website. Cek nama awak akan ada terpapar kat situ. Dengan bangganya awak boleh cek nama awak ada atau tak. Dan awak boleh key in untuk register. Untuk permohonan JPA sebelum ni, sebelum tahun 2020, student yang 9A+ is automatic offer. Terus dia akan dapat offer daripada JPA. Tapi, bermula pada tahun 2020 ke atas, selain daripada awak apply untuk mohon dengan JPA, awak kena melalui SAC, iaitu ada assessment, ada interview yang awak kena attend dan baru entitled untuk dapat JPA. Okay, dan I akan share after this tips untuk SAC, jangan risau. Okay, ni adalah website untuk awak apply JPA. Email in case kalau ada apa-apa nak bertanya dengan JPA, dan contact number jugalah. Mungkin boleh screenshot yang ni, saya simpan. Okay, in summary, JPA dia akan buka by first 2 weeks of SPM result release, dan dia offer untuk student yang dapat 9A+, dan program dia adalah berkembar, which is start daripada pre-U program until degree program under JPA. So ni program, semua program offer by JPA except this few program lah, education, aviation, nursing, semua tu. Okay, next about Petronas. So, okay, Petronas, most of student selalunya akan aim for Petronas scholarship. So, this is Petronas details. So, Petronas akan see into 4 criteria. So, first adalah academic. Untuk academic, awak kena dapat SPM 8A-. Dan dia pecahkan sama ada technical atau non-technical. Untuk technical adalah program macam engineering related lah. So awak kena dapatkan A- including physics, chemistry dengan mathematics. Dan untuk non-technical, awak cuma perlu dapatkan A- including mathematics. So itu dari segi requirement. Dan dari segi assessment, ada 3 assessment dia akan buat, which is personality, thinking skill assessment dan student potential assessment. Yang ni saya akan share detail about the interview tips untuk assessment ni. Selain tu ada leadership juga. So dia akan kalau lah bila awak nak mohon tu ada certain certificate, ada mungkin jadi mungkin attend any competition ke, so boleh masukkan benda tu. Any extracurricular activities, awak jadi pengerusi untuk mana-mana persatuan, so masukkan dalam tu adalah added value untuk awak untuk get more point. Dan for the social economy, dia akan tengok juga dari segi social economy, masih dia akan prioritize B40 dan continue M40 and T20. Okay, ni disiplin yang offer by Petronas. So mostly dekat Malaysia, untuk belajar dekat Malaysia, dia ada pecahan sama ada dekat UTP ataupun dekat IPTA dengan IPTS. UTP mostly untuk program engineering dengan sedikit untuk business and technology. Dan untuk IPTS dan IPTA, dia offer untuk business and technology. For example, student yang buat finance accounting, buat law, dia akan buat dekat Taylor sebenarnya. Okay, untuk overseas program, ini adalah program untuk engineering dengan non-technical lah. So ada offer untuk ke US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, China and Japan. Okay, just untuk share tips dengan awak. For example, kalau bila awak mohon Petronas application, first awak akan pilih country. So pilih country mana awak nak pergi. Dan awak akan pilih either technical or non-technical. For example, awak pilih engineering. Dan number 3, awak akan pilih course apa yang awak akan ambil, major apa awak akan ambil. For example, awak choose applied chemistry. So kalau for example awak choose Australia atau New Zealand, awak akan belajar SACE program di Taylor University. Kalau awak pilih US, UK, dan awak akan belajar A-level, ada 3 tempat untuk belajar A-level, which is penempatannya satu dekat Taylor, dekat KYUM, dekat KTJ. Ada 3 tempat ni. Untuk China dengan Japan program, Petronas hantar, ada satu institusi dia nak hantar, selain itu dia hantar juga dekat UM. Okay, this is timeline dengan key activities. Yang ni adalah untuk activities masa PESP 2022. Tapi kita boleh gunakan ni sebagai guideline untuk awak apply this year. So basically, masa Q2, which is on the planning process, Petronas starting daripada last 2 weeks lagi, orang dah start buat engagement dengan sekolah, pergi sekolah, just to give awareness kepada semua student berkaitan Petronas Scholarship. Dan application akan buka bila SPM result keluar. Mostly selalunya akan buka lebih kurang 2 minggu ataupun kadang-kadang 10 hari. So PSP akan buka hopefully by 8 atau 9 Jun nanti. Dan selalunya seminggu selepas SPM result keluar, dia akan announce shortlisted untuk student yang akan pergi assessment. So selalunya assessment pertama, seminggu selepas tu adalah assessment pertama. Awak akan buat assessment pertama. Seminggu selepas tu, seminggu kedua awak akan buat assessment kedua. Dan minggu yang terakhir Julai adalah time untuk awak buat interview SPA assessment. Untuk interview, dia hanya akan shortlisted student yang pass phase 1 and phase 2 assessment. Then only akan invite you untuk pergi SPA assessment. Before this, because of pandemic, dia orang buat assessment dalam online. Tapi hopefully this year dia orang akan buat face to face. So result akan dikeluarkan pada 15 Ogos. Last year dia orang keluarkan 15 Ogos, so should be the same time this year. Dan dia akan start offer, dia akan start prepare to go to university, and normally university akan start by September. Ada juga award presentation day, nanti Petronas akan sediakan. Kami pun akan pergi dan tepuk tangan untuk awak bila naik pentas dapat award nanti. Okay, so ini adalah active student under PSP. So ada dekat Canada, United States, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand and United Kingdom. Si antara universiti yang menjadi pilihan pelajar lah, mostly student ada kat sana. Okay, ni adalah list of top university yang requested by Petronas. So this is university yang dia akan aim awak untuk pergi, termasuk top 5 university in UK like Cambridge, top 5 university in US, group of 8 university in Australia. So ni part of the university yang dia nak awak pergilah. Okay, kenapa pilih Petronas? Of course adalah about the package yang Petronas sediakan. Sebenarnya Petronas they invest more than 1 million untuk one student. So cuba bayangkan berapa banyak duit dia habiskan untuk awak so that untuk dapatkan seorang talent. So dia akan bagi living allowance. Mostly kalau living allowance masa awak dekat Malaysia, dia akan bagi 900 sebulan, dia akan cover juga accommodation, dia akan bagi allowance lain. Contohnya masa awak nak apply universiti, dia akan bagi university application allowance, dan ada development program throughout you punya belajar daripada pre-U until degree program. Dan bila mula-mula masuk juga, dia akan bagi onboarding allowance, satu allowance masa mula-mula awak masuk. Dan book allowance mostly dia akan bagi masa degree program. Dan visa, bila awak dah dapat preparation tu, awak dah dapat visa, dia akan bayar juga untuk awak punya visa. Mostly dia akan bayar everything sepanjang awak belajar lah. Okay, kenapa kena choose Petronas? Petronas actually one of the best scholarship provider in Malaysia. Dan selain daripada belajar, dia orang ada juga development program. So untuk develop student punya leadership skill. That is a very attractive package in Malaysia. Dan dia orang ada very close relationship with the student. So every student akan ada group WhatsApp, dan if ada problem, beside come to tell us, you can also directly contact with the sponsor. Dan selain tu dia juga offer opportunity untuk awak sama ada nak belajar, nak sama master ke PhD ke, after awak graduate under PASP. Selain tu sepanjang awak belajar, contoh bila buat degree program, Petronas juga offer opportunity untuk awak buat internship dengan mereka. Dan bila awak keluar habis belajar, yang tu memang awak bond dengan Petronas lah, awak kena bekerja dengan Petronas after graduate. Selain tu dia orang juga ada alumni support yang strong lah. Okay, untuk apply Petronas, this is Petronas website. Tapi kalau awak buka sekarang, belum ada lagi website yang baru untuk 2023, belum ada lagi. Dia akan hanya ada by bila SPM bisa keluar. Okay, in summary, so Petronas akan release dia punya application by first 2 weeks of SPM result release. So mostly for student who getting 8A-, dan the prepare student, the sponsor student start daripada preparation program until degree program, either locally or overseas. So this is some of the program that offered by Petronas. Okay, next, selain Petronas, ini untuk MARA adalah mostly untuk Bumiputra student. Bumiputra makna dia adalah pelajar Sabah, Sarawak dan juga Melayu dekat Semenanjung lah. So ada satu program kita panggil MARA Young Talent Program. Program ni before this, zaman dulu-dulu mungkin dia gunakan nama Skim Pelajar Cemerlang, tapi dia ubah nama kepada MARA Young Talent Program. So sama juga konsep dia, result application date adalah pada first 2 weeks of SPM result release. So requirement dia lagi senang daripada yang atas GPA dengan Petronas tadi, which is dia cuma perlukan awak dapat 6A- dan awak akan belajar foundation dekat College MARA Kulim plus degree dekat Taylors. Okay, I will explain further on the next slide. Okay, ini adalah iklan yang MARA keluarkan based on last year. So this year belum ada iklan lagi. Iklan hanya akan dikeluarkan bila SPM result release. So awak boleh regularly check MARA website, tapi hopefully dia akan buka soon bila SPM result keluar. Okay, apa tu MARA Young Talent Program? MARA Young Talent Program is actually a scholarship and education loan, which is a convertible loan. So makna dia untuk pre-U program is a sponsor, tapi untuk degree program is convertible loan. So meaning you have to pay back lah. Dan untuk foundation program, awak akan buat preparation program dekat College MARA Kulim. Masa awak dekat College MARA Kulim, dia akan cover fully awak punya tuition fee, fully cover by MARA, dan dia akan provide accommodation termasuk makan 5 kali sehari, dan dia juga akan bagi allowance dekat awak 100 setiap bulan. Dan bila masuk degree program, awak, because this is sponsor program kan, so awak kena meet certain requirement. So awak kena meet CGPA 3.5 dan awak akan entitled untuk masuk MBBS program atau farmasi program dekat Taylor's. So untuk degree program, MARA akan offer MARA TESP convertible loan. Makna convertible loan ni, lagi tinggi punya result, lagi kurang awak kena bayar. Sebagai contoh, bila awak habis belajar, awak dapat, sebab setiap semester student kena maintain result 2.5. So bila awak habis belajar dengan 2.5 sahaja, awak just pay back 50% from the overall amount. So lagi tinggi result, lagi kurang bayarlah. Selain tu awak juga akan dapat monthly allowance 800 per month dan akan bagi exception of SCS. Mana kat sini dia akan bagi exception untuk pendapatan ibu bapa. Okey, dari segi application process, application akan start bila SPM dikeluarkan. Dan bila awak buat application, awak kena fill up the personal information, awak kena fill up kena choose program apa yang awak pilih. So mostly sudah akan pilih dua sahaja pilihan yang awak boleh. Selalunya ada yang apply overseas juga, ada yang apply locally. Dan masa application itself, awak dah kena buat ujian kelayakan. So ujian kelayakan ni sebenarnya awak terus jawab dan based on ujian kelayakan ni dia akan decide ada awak akan dapat atau tak. Dia tak ada any interview, cuma ada ujian kelayakan. Interview mungkin ada tapi mostly untuk program overseas. So untuk program local mostly hanya ada ujian kelayakan. Dan selepas result dikeluarkan, setakat ni tiada, tak ada announcement ada bila result akan dikeluarkan, tak ada set any timeline, tapi kena regularly check MARA website. Tapi bila result dikeluarkan, in case lah awak tak dapat the offer, awak tak boleh appeal. Memang tu tak ada lagi any appeal. In case awak tak dapat, memang terus tak dapat lah. Okay, requirement ni paling penting. So if you meet, bila SPM result keluar, you meet this requirement, so please apply for this scholarship. So for example, MBBS program, sebenarnya sama je MBBS ke, farmasi ke, requirement sama, which is awak kena dapat 6A minus dan subjek yang awak kena dapat 6A adalah biology, mathematics, physics, chemistry and 2 other subjek. Selain tu, AdMed kena dapat B+. Itu adalah requirement untuk MARA YTP. So dua-dua farmasi atau MBBS requirement dia sama. Okay, dan ada general requirement which is Malaysian, Bumi Putra must be 18 in 2023 dan SPM untuk kali pertama, mak ayah tidak blacklisted by MARA, tak ada chronic disease dan tak dapat any sponsor lagi lah. Dari segi proses untuk MARA YTP, so awak bila SPM result keluar, awak apply dan awak sit for ujian kelayakan together dan submit the application. So kena sentiasa check MARA website, dekat MARA YTP website, dan bila result dikeluarkan, awak akan register dengan College MARA Kulim dan akan by August, mostly by August awak akan belajar. Dan selepas tu awak kena achieve 3.5 dan akan enroll dekat Taylor's by Julai 2024. Untuk enroll dekat Taylor's untuk program MBBS, contohnya kita ada interview, so awak have to sit for the interview dan kita akan waive enrollment fee. So kita akan treat awak as a sponsored student. So bila awak masuk ada MARA as a sponsored student, so awak akan ada di bawah jagaan akak lah, akak akan jaga awak nanti. Selain daripada tu, MARA ada bagi special approval lah untuk proses naik taraf. Okay, next adalah untuk program satu lagi program yang menarik sebenarnya. Okay, program ni kita panggil College MARA Program. Sebenarnya program ni baru diperkenalkan oleh MARA. Kalau awak mohon dan dapat offer this year, awak adalah batch ketiga yang apply dan dapat offer. So untuk College MARA Program ni, awak akan belajar dekat College MARA Kuala Narang selama setahun dan continue degree dekat Taylor. So requirement sangat senang, which is 2A minus and 5B. Itu je requirement. Dan awak boleh belajar untuk biosciences, engineering, business, IT or communication. So application dia dah buka sekarang, start pada 3 April sampai 30 Jun. So after session ni, lepas ni terus buka MARA website, apply dan at least awak dah ada satu scholarship yang awak boleh secure, which is requirement dia pun rendah, 2A minus je. Okay, I will explain further about the scholarship. Okay, ni adalah banner di dalam MARA website. So nanti bila dah buka MARA website akan nampak ni. So awak akan pilih College MARA Kuala Narang. So admission application dah start buka 3 April. Ni adalah website dia. Okey, apa tu Mara Asasi Program? Mara Asasi Program adalah awak akan bermula pada foundation anti degree program di bawah tajaan Mara. So masa foundation program, awak akan belajar dekat College Mara Kuala Nerang. Masa ni awak cover tuition fee fully cover by Mara. Accommodation provided, dia akan bagi juga 5 kali makan sehari sama macam YTP program dan dia akan bagi allowance 100 per month. Konsep dia sebenarnya sama. Bila awak habis, awak akan continue degree. Cuma degree dia requirement lagi rendah daripada Mara YTP. Kalau Mara YTP tadi 3.5, untuk Mara Asasi Program awak cuma akademik 3.0. So lagi senang lah kan. Dan dia akan offer convertible loan, dia akan bagi allowance 800 per month. So dari segi proses application, sebenarnya awak dah boleh start apply sekarang. Gunakan trial result, apply dulu, dan bila actual result keluar nanti update with your actual result, then submit before 30th of June. 30th of June adalah tarikh tutup untuk permohonan ni. Ada banyak masa lagi, so ada masa lepas ni terus apply. Lepas awak mohon, result akan dikeluarkan seminggu selepas tu, which is 7 Julai pukul 3 petang, result akan dikeluarkan. Tapi in case masa result keluar, awak tak berjaya, jangan nangis, jangan risau, ada appeal, awak boleh appeal, don't worry. Awak klik button appeal dan buat rayuan untuk diorang review balik. So, in case awak dapat, appeal result akan keluar adalah 14 Julai. So, lebih kurang seminggu selepas tu, result appeal akan keluar pada pukul 3 petang. Dan awak akan start register dekat College Mara Kuala Nerang pada 2 Ogos 2023. Okey, ini adalah program di bawah College Mara program. So banyak program sebenarnya, ada banyak opportunity untuk awak apply, which is chemical engineering, ada engineering, mechanical, electrical, ada computing, ada computer science, software engineering, IT and quantity surveying. Selain itu untuk program sains kita ada, maknanya awak akan buat foundation in science dekat College Mara Kuala Nerang, dan awak akan buat biomedical science dekat Taylor's, biotechnology or food science. Selain itu untuk business lagi banyak, ada 8 cabang yang awak boleh pilih, sama ada awak nak buat mass communication, advertising and brand management, public relation and event management, marketing, ada accounting and finance, banking and finance, accounting, fintech and bachelor studies. So ada banyak pilihan. So awak ada masa dan untuk apply this. Okay, ini dari segi requirement. Requirement general adalah awak kena dapat 2A- for Malay language and mathematics, dan kena dapat 5B untuk subjek lain termasuk pass in sejarah. Tapi untuk setiap program dia ada certain requirement, details requirement lah. Untuk engineering and IT, requirement dia sikit ketat, which is awak kena dapat 2A- for Malay language and mathematics, dan kena dapat 5B in this subject, which is English, physics atau chemistry. Math kena dapat B, tu ada subjek dan pass in history. So ni untuk engineering and technology. So dia orang perlukan math because engineering kan IT. Okay, dan untuk sains kalau awak nampak dia tak ada math, so lagi sikit senang, which is 2A- dan 5B, which is untuk 5B ni awak kena dapat English, biology, physics or chemistry, either one sahaja, dan 3 ada subjek. Tu je, lagi senang, dan pass in history. Dan kalau business ni memang lagi senang lah. I rasa most of you akan meet this requirement sebenarnya, which is you just need to get 2A- for Malay language and mathematics, then 5B in the subject, which is only English and other 4 subject. Itu sahaja, and pass in history. Under general requirement, standard lah, awak kena Malaysian, Bumi Putra. Bumi Putra maknanya kat sini boleh jadi mak atau ayah salah seorang Bumi Putra pun dah kira Bumi Putra, dah boleh dah sebenarnya. Dan umur 18 tahun pada tahun 2023 dan SPM pada kali pertama. So parent tak boleh blacklisted by Mara, dan free from chronic disease and don't have any sponsored courses lain lah. Okay, dari segi proses untuk Mara Asasi Program. So step 1, application. Awak dah boleh start do the application now. Start pada 3 April lagi student dah start apply sehingga 30 Jun. Dan bila actual result keluar, awak akan update result actual dan submit sebelum 30 Jun. Dan result dia akan keluar pada 7 Julai pada pukul 3 petang. Dan awak akan mendaftar di College Mara Kuala Nerang pada 2 Ogos 2023. So with the requirement awak kena make 3.0, awak akan proceed dengan enrollment dekat Taylor's pada Julai 2024. Masa ni to ensure enrollment fees kita akan waive daripada Taylor's, okay, dan kita akan treat as a sponsored student juga. So akan jadi anak-anak akak lagi. Oh ramai betul anak akak nanti ni. Dan degree program ada Mara TSP. Okay, next adalah bank negara. Bank negara sama juga, mostly sebenarnya tarikh penting untuk awak adalah first 2 weeks of SPM result release, sebab most of the sponsor akan keluarkan scholarship during this time, this same time. That's why daripada sekarang lagi awak dah kena start prepare yourself untuk buat study. So untuk bank negara dia akan sama juga, first 2 weeks of SPM result release. So untuk bank negara requirement dia adalah 8A, dia tak nak A minus, cuma A and A plus only. Dan dia akan award untuk program yang related to bank lah, contoh economics, accounting, finance, actuarial studies. Tapi akak leave dulu bank negara punya details ni, sebab lepas ni ada our student, bank negara scholar Akil, who will share details about bank negara ni. So stay tuned. Okay, next adalah Yayasan Telekom Malaysia. Okay, Telekom Malaysia sebelum ni dia baru mulakan balik program untuk tajaan ke luar negara pada tahun lepas. So batch awak adalah batch kedua yang akan ke overseas under YTM sponsorship. So sama juga dia akan buka pada first 2 weeks of SPM result release. So untuk yang ni requirement dia adalah 8A pada SPM 2022. Standard kena ada active co-curricular activity. Cuma satu untuk YTM dia ada household salary cap, so which is parents must be not exceed 20k per month. Dan field of study mostly akan related kepada YTM punya nature of business. Dia sama ada IT, digital, creative media or engineering and management. Okay. Next adalah Shell Scholarship. Shell Scholarship tengah buka sekarang. So after this, again, boleh start dah apply untuk Shell Scholarship. Dia akan close pada 19 Jun 2023. Untuk Shell Scholarship, requirement dia adalah 8A in SPM ataupun AGCSE. So selain tu kena ada strong leadership skill and are active in extracurricular activities. So mostly untuk Shell program, dia offer program yang related to the engineering, to dia punya nature of business. So must be engineering, business, digital media, data science, mechanical engineering, civil, chemical. So mostly related to their business lah. So start apply now tu. Okay, Hong Leong pun tengah buka dia punya application now until 30th of June 2023. Sama macam Wara Asasi tadi kan, 30 Jun. So untuk Hong Leong, requirement adalah student kena dapat CGPA 3.5 kalau untuk STPM, Matriculation, A-Level, Foundation. Dan kalau student yang memohon untuk diploma program, kena dapat 8A di SPM. So dia tak offer untuk Foundation, dia tak offer untuk A-Level, tapi dia offer untuk diploma program with result 8A in SPM. Dan dia ada offer juga untuk degree program, so either using STPM, Matric, A-Level atau Foundation. So then result kena dapat 3.5. So boleh check Hong Leong website after this dan start apply because memang tengah buka sekarang. So ada few scholarship yang tengah buka, so dah bagi idea dekat awak bila nak apply this scholarship. Okay, next ni adalah paling important part, which is interview tips. Apa awak nak kena prepare untuk pergi untuk buat application dan untuk pergi interview. Okay, first adalah untuk application tips. So before application, maknanya dia sekarang, before SPM result release, before the scholarship release. So make sure daripada sekarang lagi awak dah start do your research, check eligibility requirement untuk setiap sponsor, check the due date dan check dokumen apa required by the sponsor. So dah boleh start cari dokumen, sediakan dokumen. Dan selain tu dah boleh draft personal essay, mungkin boleh list out you punya achievement, you punya interest yang convincing. Dan so that bila SPM result keluar tu awak dah ready dah nak apply, sebab ada 2 minggu je masa untuk awak apply sebenarnya. Okay, dan during bila SPM result keluar, scholarship pun dah ada, so awak dah apply sekarang. So masa apply, make sure awak read carefully the questions, sebab some sponsor require essay, some sponsor require untuk awak buat task, macam contoh dia Mara YTP. So make sure read question carefully and answer accordingly. So selain tu, yang paling penting to provide valid contact number, sebab maybe boleh provide parents punya contact juga selain daripada contact awak. So in case kalau sponsor tak boleh nak contact awak, dia akan ada second contact untuk dia boleh contact lah. Selain tu kena attach all support dokumen yang required dan buat proofread. dari segi grammar, dari segi spelling, capitalization. So make sure before you submit tu, double check before you submit. So make sure mungkin boleh ajak kawan ke, ajak ayah ke, check lagi sekali before submit the application. So regularly check, betul-betul confirm, then baru submit the application. Dan selepas awak dah submit, dah settle dah semua dah, untuk post pula, sementara menunggu result dikeluarkan, interview result dikeluarkan, make sure awak regularly check your inbox, including spam. Sebab sometimes email yang masuk tu tak sampai kepada inbox awak, tapi sebenarnya ada dekat spam. So regularly check including spam juga. Dan standby for call. Dan phone ni dah kena bercinta dengan phone after this. Memang kena bawa phone pergi mana-mana, nak pergi toilet pun kena bawa phone in case diorang call awak. Okay. Next adalah interview tips. So untuk interview tips, sama juga ada pre, during and post. Pre-interview, maknanya sebelum interview tu dijalankan, awak dapat email, Alhamdulillah awak dapat sponsorship from Petronas. So sekarang ni awak nak ready untuk interview. So before pergi for the interview, make sure you do your research, check sponsor apa yang send. So awak kena do the background research on the company, dan buat juga common interview question, shares just Google some common interview question. Then attire must be proper attire. Selain tu awak boleh start practice juga with friend, maybe guna video, guna audio, so that awak confident bila awak do the interview. Okay, during the interview, bila awak dah masuk during the interview, make sure awak be confident, wear proper attire. Datang early so that awak tak kalut last minute datang muka pucat semua tu. Make sure ready on time. Then make eye contact with the orang yang bagi ni tu. Then for interview, sometimes ada interview yang dia buat online. So kalau it's online, make sure tempat tu quiet, good lighting with stable internet. Okay, then post. After awak dah pergi interview, dah settle, yang post make sure still sama. Check your inbox, check your spam. Always check. Hari-hari buka mata je, bangun tidur terus check your inbox dengan spam. Then also pegang phone. Tidur pun pegang phone kalau boleh. Okay, next. JPA. Ada sedikit pesanan daripada JPA masa dia orang buat talk dekat Taylor hari itulah. Dari segi isu-isu, dari segi penajaan. So mostly sama juga, dia orang minta awak peka, which is with tarikh-tarikh penting yang ada. Tarikh-tarikh penting, semak portal website JPA. Sebab announcement sebenarnya kadang-kadang kalau dia tak share to your email, dia akan share dekat portal JPA. Mungkin announcement keputusan interview dah keluar, result untuk SAC dekat mana tempat dia. So semua tu ada dekat portal. So make sure sentiasa check your portal. Dan baca dan fahami garis panduan untuk permohonan masa nak mohon. Dan sebab permohonan tu online kan, so awak je yang buat tu online. So make sure awak betul-betul faham masa awak apply tu. Dan bila awak dah dapat kontrak, make sure awak baca dan faham kontrak punya requirement. Okay, dari segi persediaan, make sure awak mentally and physically prepared. Awak kena start dari sekarang lagi, awak dah kena tahu apa minat awak. Sebab bila interview tu dijalankan, dia akan tanya awak, why do you want to take this course? What do you yourself in 15 years? Or maybe dia akan tanya, why do you think you deserve this scholarship? So you start dah kena ready with all these questions. Selain tu awak kena banyak membaca juga isu semasa, tu paling penting. So sebab isu semasa paling penting, semua sponsor sebenarnya akan tanya isu semasa. Tak semua hanya JPA, Petronas, semua sponsor sebenarnya. Even bank negara pun dia akan tanya isu semasa. Dan komunikasi, pastikan email yang betul yang diletakkan, dan bila any communication with JPA, gunakan bahasa yang formal, dan maklumat kena jelas. Ada nama, ada IC, program apa. Dan baru awak explain apa masalah awak. Itu sebagai contoh lah. Okay. Akak akan share JPA tips, interview tips untuk student assessment center. Sebab so sekarang ni bila awak apply JPA, submit the application. 9A plus ni dah percaya dah, Alhamdulillah, submit the application. Okay, awak tunggu dan dia akan buat announcement untuk student untuk pergi student assessment center. Make sure awak buka dekat JPA website dan accept the offer. Sebab kadang-kadang student dia tengok nama ada tapi dia tak accept the offer. So make sure awak buka dan klik hadir. Then only awak akan dapat akan listed sebagai orang yang akan pergi the assessment. So ada certain dokumen yang dia akan require awak untuk sediakan. So make sure awak sediakan dokumen tu. Okay, during the SAC session, bila awak masuk dalam SAC, sebenarnya dia pecahkan SAC ni kepada 2 session. Session 1 adalah English language session, which is dia akan ada dua panel yang akan interview lebih kurang dalam 10 orang lah. Dia akan interview in group, dia akan tanya about current issues, dan dia akan tanya setiap orang lah. Maksudnya dia akan minta awak perkenalkan diri, dia akan minta awak mungkin tanya some certain questions yang macam related to you punya course, apa course yang awak pilih, mungkin dia tanya kenapa awak pilih course ni semua tu, dan dia akan bagi current issue, dia akan tanya each of everyone tu isu semasa yang terkini. So awak kena jawab soalan tu. Yang ini adalah first session. After that, second session, session kedua dia adalah in Malay language session. So for example, tadi dia ada group yang ramai, dalam 10 orang, dia akan pecahkan into small group. So this group ni akan buat presentation based on case study. So mungkin dia akan bagi satu case study, awak akan discuss in a group, mungkin letak dalam paper mahjong ke, discuss, then akan present. Everyone akan ada own topik yang awak akan present, dan dia akan tengok daripada situ sebenarnya. Okay, next untuk Petronas. Petronas pula, dia ada ketiga assessment. First assessment adalah online assessment, which is dia gunakan Cambridge Personal Style Questionnaire. Untuk ni sebenarnya dia nak assess candidate punya personality, potential. So awak akan ambil Cambridge task ni selama 1 jam. So awak akan jawab soalan tu. Okay, dan habis sampai situ. Awak lepas first test, next week dia akan panggil awak untuk second phase. So second phase ni adalah thinking skill assessment. So untuk second phase ni awak akan menjawab lebih kurang 1 jam 30 minit. So program untuk thinking skill ni dia akan tengok awak punya ability untuk solve problem, thinking, critical thinking skill. So dia akan tengok benda tu. Kalau awak lepas phase 1 and phase 2, then only dia akan panggil another week untuk phase 3, which is student potential assessment. Okay, untuk phase 3 sebenarnya dia nak tengok awak punya leadership skill, awak punya interpersonal skill. So what's happened during interview session? Okay, dia akan selalunya akan ada 2 panel, dan candidate lebih kurang 4 hingga 5 pelajar. Selalunya candidate dia akan minta awak untuk introduce yourself. Sama juga dia akan bagi awak case study. Satu case study tu akan ada individual task. So setiap pelajar akan ada 10 minit untuk prepare. Dia akan bagi satu topik, awak prepare dalam masa 10 minit, dan setiap orang akan present dalam masa 3 minit. Setiap orang akan present their own idea. Selepas tu dia akan bagi group task. So dalam group task ni dia akan bagi 20 minit untuk awak discuss dan present in group. So masa ni sebenarnya dia lebih kepada nak tengok awak punya, selain daripada leadership skill, awak punya entrepreneur skill, dia nak tengok macam mana awak accept ada opinion, ada idea, then adapt it together. Tu sebenarnya untuk Petronas. Okay, itu saja. Dan next adalah just nak promote Thales corporate sponsorship. Dekat Thales kita ada satu department who taking care of sponsored student. So mostly kita akan monitor student punya academic performance. Every semester kita akan send your result to the sponsor. We present your result. We plan with the sponsor macam mana nak increase your result. How to kalau result yang rendah kita akan monitor together with the sponsor. Selain itu juga kami akan prioritize student punya safety, emotional well-being. So kalau ada apa-apa masalah, putus cinta ke, hostel ada masalah ke, boleh datang jumpa kami. Kami akan try solve ataupun at least mendengar apa masalah awak lah. Selain tu kita juga liaison party between sponsor and scholar. So for example, allowance awak lambat dah 5 hari, allowance tak masuk lagi, boleh jumpa kami. Kami akan tolong deal with the sponsor to ensure allowance awak masuk on time. Dan selain tu kita juga ada monthly activities, which is kita held dengan sponsor, student. Every kita buat engagement, kita have fun together, and just untuk engage. Okay, so ni contact number kami. Kalau sepanjang ada apa-apa masalah selepas ni, dah boleh contact kami at this number lah. Okay, so itu sahaja daripada saya. Mungkin just untuk remind siapa yang tak fill up the attendance lagi, boleh fill up. So boleh scan this QR code atau boleh klik the link yang ada lah. Okay, itu sahaja. Over to you, Rina.
Alright, okay. Semua dah fill up attendance ke? Alright, sekejap ya. Okay, sekarang kita dah habis session untuk yang diberikan oleh Puan Normawati. Okay, sekarang kita go through session untuk students sharing session. Sekarang dipersilakan oleh Akil Kishan yang akan berkongsi suka duka, liku ranjau, the struggle untuk memohon serta mendapatkan penajaan dari Bank Negara Malaysia. Beliau akan berkongsi pengalaman dalam menyesuaikan diri dalam kehidupan kolej dan memberikan tips yang berguna untuk adik-adik semua. Okey, dipersilakan Akil. Terima kasih.
Hello everyone, my name is Akil Kishan Lee and I am a scholar of Bank Negara Malaysia. I hope you all are doing well today. So today I will be telling you all a bit about the application process to become a Bank Negara scholar, a bit of insight on interview tips and how to handle the scholarship, and also a bit on college life at Taylor's. Right, so let's go. So before we get into it, so the Bank Negara Scholarship, right, or the Kijang Scholarship, is awarded to eligible individuals to pursue their pre-university program at the bank's approved pre-university colleges. All right. So example of the next slide, sorry. So an example of the colleges are Taylor's, KYUEM, KTJ, Epsom College, and Nexus. All right. So what the Kijang Scholarship gives you is it provides a tuition fee. So at the start for your A levels, they give it free. Besides that, they also have subsistence allowance. So they have allowance for your food and they also pay for your accommodation. Finally, they have related scholarship allowances such as you can buy your iPad, laptop, tablet, and even sports equipment, which I use every year. Every year you get like 200 ringgit, I think, to buy sports equipment. All right, so that's what the scholarship offers you. Next slide. Okay, so these are the 4 basic requirements to apply for the Kijang Scholarship. So the first and the last one, the first one you see is a minimum of 8 A's, A and A star only, obtained for SPM examinations. So here they're quite strict. They don't allow you to get anything below an A. So if you have an A minus, and that reduces the number of A's from 8 to 7, then you cannot apply. Then you are disadvantaged in the application process. Besides that, you should not exceed age 19 years of age on 1st of July 2023. I think that should not be a problem for anyone here because SPM, after COVID, you should be doing it when you turn 18, right? Yeah, so this year you all should be turning 18, not 19. Okay, the more important one is the 2 in the middle. So you see, at Bank Negara, we are more of a community, a family, not just a workforce. So even if you're a genius, right, you can be, just say, the best economist or the best chartered accountant in the whole country or the world. But in a place like Bank Negara, if you cannot work together with the people in your team, or like they say, excellent interpersonal skills, if you cannot communicate, then there's no point to genius. All right. Besides that, you need leadership qualities, teamwork capabilities, and outstanding performance in ECA. Bank Negara also looks at the other things you do besides just studying. Your involvements in school, sports, ECA are all very important for this scholarship. All right, next slide. Okay, so now we come to filling up the scholarship application form. It is like any other scholarship application form. You need your name, your IC number, your parents, your brothers, your siblings, your school, your results. Those are the normal stuff, and it's really simple. The hardest part of the scholarship application form is the last part. We go to the next slide. The last part is the scholarship essay. All right. So throughout your SPM life, you have written hundreds, I believe, karangan bahasa Melayu. You've written English essays. You've written science essays of biochemistry, physics. But I can assure you, very few of you would have written an academic essay. Okay. There is no guideline for this academic essay because you've never learned it before. And the Bank Negara question may come out like this. Write in 500 words why you deserve the scholarship and given the scholarship, how you can benefit yourself, the bank, and your country. Then you're stuck. You're sitting there. There's no format. You don't know what to write. You've never thought of an essay from this angle before. This will be the closest you get to writing an academic essay before you apply for universities or you're in university itself. So how to tackle this essay is, first, they want to know about you, your skills, your traits, experiences you've had. And then, like the question says, why your choice of subject? Why do you want to do this subject? Some of you maybe are from science background just like me and have never attempted, and never thought of it. What if I became an economist, an accountant, a data analyst, an actuarial scientist. So this will be the first time you're thinking, oh God, why do I want to do economics? Why do I want to apply to bank to become an economist? That's why I'll test you. And how you'll benefit the bank and the country. Once you become a scholar of the bank or a scholar in general, you're not just serving yourself or your family, you're serving the country as well, for the rakyat. It's this scholarship, you can think of it as it's helping you, but in the long run, you're supposed to help other people as well, the rakyat basically. And finally, why you deserve this scholarship. Okay, so Malaysians, right? Malaysians and Asians, we tend to think of ourselves as more modest people. And if you compare us to Europeans or Americans, without actually trying, we are much more modest and reserved people. So this is where it's time to step out of their comfort zone. It's time to say, all right, I believe I deserve this scholarship. Now let me tell them, let me show them why I do so. And the first two parts here, your skills, your traits, experiences, and you telling them how you're going to benefit the bank and the country, that shows them why you deserve the scholarship. Your past experiences, the challenges you've faced, things you've led, things you've done. They may be small, but if you can explain them in a way which shows, wow, this person showed perseverance, dedication, and hard work through this process, they see you can keep up something for long periods of time, then they may say, looks like he can, uphold pressure, he knows how to carry the name of the bank, and maybe he'll be a good candidate for a scholarship. All right, so that's the scholarship essay. Next slide. Okay, so when you get called for, just say your application process goes through, they like your essay and they say, wow, he or she could be a good candidate as a Bank Negara scholar. You will be invited for, I'm not sure if it's online or physical this year, but a full day event where the first event will be a group brainstorming session. All right, this is basically a case study given to you where you'll be divided into groups and you have to present this case study. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so a topic will be provided, and this is where it's important because for my year, the topic was provided earlier, a day or two before. So I had a day or two to research every data, every fact about that topic. And then on that day, when I met with these 5 individuals, who I did not know who they are, 5 random Bank Negara applicants, you meet there. On that day, you discuss the problem, you discuss the topic, and then you present it to the Bank Negara officials. So they will involve a lot of problem solving, and there will be aspects for you to analyze in the terms of data, social aspects, feasibility aspects, and how successful your ideas will be. So at this point, that English language is preferred, so make sure you brush up on your English. And because everyone applying for the Bank Negara scholarship tend to be of some quality. They're leaders, they've experience in multiple fields, they've been, just say head prefect or head of this department, that department. So, they have inherent and they have trained their leadership skills, taking charge in communication. So on that day, you must know when to exercise the leadership skill, when to be able to receive orders. You're working in a group. Not everyone's going to be a leader. If everyone's a leader in a group, you're just going to spoil the project. So, next slide. So my opinion would be, when you get this project, if you're selected on that day, divide yourselves. If you're good in maths, you're good in data, good in graphs, take data analysis. If you're good at coordinating, delegating tasks and everything, be the leader of the group. And then you have the policymakers and evaluators. In the end of the day, make sure everyone has a role in planning the topic, and everyone is given a chance to talk. If everyone is given a chance to talk and present, it's only fair to everyone because the bank officials can then see, all right, this person can talk like this, he's good at this, he's good at that, she's good at this, she's good at that. Instead of saying, okay, everyone does the work, one person presents. Then it's a bit unfair. Only one person will get to show their talking abilities, or else you won't know who did this, who dropped the graphs for this point. For example, in my year, it was COVID-19 because I was the STM 2020 batch. So they gave us a topic and we had to find out which vaccine program was the best for our country, and they gave us a bunch of options. So the days before, we researched about vaccines, efficacy rates, efficiency, prices, and everything. And on that day, we presented. So I was in charge of data that day. So me and my friend, we dropped tables and graphs in that short period of time they gave us, and we presented it. And I think the Bank Negara officials were impressed. So make sure on that day, you get to know the people, smile, be happy you're there, don't be stressed. Discuss with all of them because they're all in the same boat as you. All right? When they give them the same topic and they give them the same amount of time. So as long as you prepare, you should be fine. All right? Okay, next. Okay, this is the tough part, the interview. Don't worry, even if you don't do so well in your group discussion, you will still be called for interview. Everyone on that day gets a chance at the interview. It's not one-to-one. It's you up against a panel of interviewers, and they all may be bank officials. Some may be high-ranking officials, assistant governors. Some may be newly grads who just entered the bank force. All right, you never know. And most likely, they are all related with the course you've chosen: economics, finance, accounting, data science, data analytics, computer science, law, anything. All right. What they want to know from this interview, from the first part of it, will be they want to know about you, about yourself. They want to see what kind of person is he. Is he a follower? Is she a leader? Can they contribute to the bank society? Will they fit in well, or will they just shy away? They want to know so that they're ensuring when they give you that job 3 years or 5 years down the track, after 2 years of pre-U and 3 years of uni, will you fit into the bank? They want to know after that 5 years, will you actually come back and work for the bank, or will you break the bond and leave the scholarship program? So they want to know about you. Talk. If they ask you questions, they'll ask you simple questions. Give me a time where you faced difficulty in high school and you solved the problem. Give me a time when you led a program, when you were part of this program, and how did it turn out? Did it succeed? Did it fail? Why? They want to see how you think. They want to see how you present yourself and how you handle problems. Thus, when they ask you questions, calm down, think about it. If the question is really hard, tell them, give me a moment. It's an interesting question. I'll get back to you. You can write on paper, less than a minute. Just take your time, write it out, and then talk to them. Don't blurt out your answers. You might, hey, oh, I've done this question before. I'm excited. Let me talk. Never do that. Never immediately answer the question. You must give them the impression that you're actually thinking. You're taking the time, digesting their question, thinking it rationally. All right? That's the first part. Second part is when they start asking you questions about your course. That's why for the Bank Negara interview, never go in blind. Okay? If you're applying for accounts, read the news, not just local news, overseas news as well. Accounting firms, what they do, any problems they faced. You can even think about policies, recent policies if you're doing economics, or even world problems. For example, like in China and Taiwan, the problem they're facing, the friction between them and America because of the semiconductor and electronic parts. You can think about that. Think about world problems and think maybe the bank might twist this problem and relate it to our own country. They like to do that. They like to relate it to our country. So like if you're doing finance, they might say, if tomorrow you're suddenly the finance minister of Malaysia, what would you do to help blah, blah, blah? To help the poor people, to help schools, what policy, how would you change? What would you implement in the budget? Questions they can ask and they can totally catch you off guard. But it's okay. Even if you don't know how to answer the question, calm down, tell them this interesting question what I told you just now. And even if you don't know, right, don't lie to them and don't cook up a story. Even if you don't know, tell them I'm not so sure, but I will try my best to answer. Then give your points in a calm manner, and then you say that is all I can think of now. And then you can ask them, is it sufficient, or would you like me to explain? Sometimes they might ask really tough questions just to put you in that position, and then if you can accept and you can try your best, I think they will be quite satisfactory with your answer. Finally, for the interview, right? Bank Negara is highly personal, right? They actually profile you through your application, what you've mentioned in your essay, the type of activities you do. They actually take the time to do all of that. So that's why they take some time to get back to you. Bank Negara takes quite a while to get back to you. Do not lie. All right? When I went for my interview, they knew I was a football fan and I played a lot of football. They actually got one of the bank officials who was a football player, who played some football and knew a lot about football, to interview me. And when I mentioned something about football in the interview, he actually cross-checked that fact and came back to me and asked, so is that really true? About some football player or something like that. And thankfully, I did not lie at that time, so I got away with that. So make sure anything you're passionate about, anything you mention is all true. Don't lie about it, and speak honestly, speak truthfully. When you're in this interview, try to calm down. Practice beforehand, talking in front of the mirror. Talk to your parents, talk to your friends. Do interviews, mock interviews. If your school has them, don't shy away from the chance to go and do a mock interview with your teachers. Because my interview, I spoke so fast, they asked me, Akil, calm down. You're not catching a train. So you got to talk calmly, compose, talk slowly so they understand what you're saying. All right? I think next slide, Kak. Okay, so right now, in the comment section, you can leave any questions you want to ask about the Bank Negara Scholarship. Even on the website, if you go to Bank Negara Malaysia Research Kijang Scholarship, underneath there is a Q&A section where common questions are asked. And then you can check there if you want to know. is there possibility for students who are not really active in curricula to secure scholarships? I'm assuming this is extracurricular activities, right, Koku? So yes, it is possible. If you're not really active in extracurricular activities, because extracurricular activities extend outside school also. It's not just the classic, prefects or was that Baramba uniform, sports and stuff like that. You could be involved in other activities. Maybe you write a blog, maybe you have a YouTube channel, stuff like that. These are also counted as extracurricular activities. They might not, like how do you say, they might not have points in the PAJSK system for high school for SMK, but in other aspects, it helps your application as well if you mention it inside. Because it shows you're not just focused on education and just your curricular, extracurricular as well you're involved.
Okay, I will answer these questions. Kalau dapat offer letter dari private university, boleh ke mohon sponsorship seperti MARA untuk tajam pembelajaran di universiti tersebut? Okay, MARA sebenarnya dia ada 3 selain daripada, ada MARA YTP, ada MARA asasi, ada satu lagi adalah MARA TESP. So MARA TESP adalah untuk permohonan degree program ke local university. So mungkin, tapi MARA TSP tutup dah sekarang. Dia akan buka balik hopefully by September. So bila MARA kena regularly check MARA website dan apply for the MARA TSP program untuk selain universiti yang dilistedkan lah.
During interview, apa poin-poin penting yang pihak penajaan tengok pada participants? Alright. So during the interview, they look at, based on their questions, they look at how you answer the questions, how you structure your points, whether you're confident. That's from personal perspective. But they also like to see your ideas, how you think. They want to see what kind of person you are, whether you fit into the bank as a community, or you're a lone wolf. So they see whether you will fit into Bank Negara later on in the future. And of course, they're looking to see whether you come back and work for them. Like they don't want, after 5 years of study, you break the bond and have to repay them. Because when Bank Negara chooses you for a scholarship, they actually have a place for you ready. So like, just say this year, 2023, you get a Bank Negara scholarship to study economics. 5 years later, after you've done with your course, they've actually prepared a place for you. They say, okay, after 5 years, once you're done with this scholarship, you come back, there is a place for you in the economics department of Bank Negara where you will be working. You have a guaranteed job in the field of your choice. That's the best thing about Bank Negara. So they're looking for you as a person, whether you fit into that position they're preparing for you. Personality is important. Does the scholarship specify for certain courses only? Do they offer scholarship for computer science as well? Well, Bank Negara is looking for computer science scholars. So let me tell you the specific courses. I'm sorry I didn't include it in my slides just now. So they provide courses for economics, accounting, finance, actuarial science, mathematics, statistics, law, data science, and computer science. Yes, as a computer science scholar, you'll be highly valued because computer science and data science is used heavily in the field of economics and finance, where policy making. This is a bit of economics. Yeah, policy making got 2 sides: the human policy and the data policy. So the data, right, is where computer scientists and data scientists come in very handy, because they help economists, they help data analysts, they help them compile this data and see in the future, will this policy work or not. So yes, definitely, computer science is very important to Bank Negara. What if you do not have any extracurricular activities which relate to the course? All right. So the reason you take an extracurricular activity is, number one, either you like them, or number two, it's good for you. So any extracurricular activity, right, it may not even have anything to do with your course. Imagine, like for me, I've done pure science my whole high school, secondary school, and then suddenly I want to do economics. So do you think I would have any extracurricular activity that can relate? Maybe not. But it's the skills, the experience, and the knowledge you gain from this which will improve you as a person. So maybe as a data scientist, you need to be very meticulous. You need to be very careful when you plan your data. So just say you didn't have anything to do as a data science before. Maybe you were a prefect before, or you were part of this organization, you were a secretary. And through that, you got skills, planning. You got analysis skills. You compile information from people. You can input that inside and say, through these activities which I did in secondary school, I was able to sharpen my skills, and maybe it will be an asset when I become a data scientist in the future. So as long as you're able to see the benefit from your extracurricular activity, you should be fine for your applying for the course. If they ask you to introduce yourself, what are the things you should mention or say? Okay. This is a very interesting question because there's so many ways you can introduce yourself. You can introduce yourself, the classic, hello, my name is Akil Kishan Lee. I am 20 years old this year. I'm a Bank Negara scholar. It's up to you, honestly. Whichever you can. What I like to do for this question is this is the first question I practiced when I got the interview. So I had different scripts, like how I would say, I will start with my name, or I start like this, start like that. What you do is you put them all and you record every one of them. You write a few different scripts for introducing yourself. Record them and record yourself speaking to it in a mirror. And then after you recorded all of it, you play back and you see which one sounds the best, which one sounds spontaneous, which one sounds like, it's like he's talking to a friend, he's like introducing himself to a friend, which is the most comfortable one. The ones which make you think, those are not the ones we choose. So this one is up to you. Mention your name. Of course, your name is important. The things you love to do, how old you are, a bit of things you like. Mention the things you like to do, and inside there, insert how that has helped you and the skills you learn from there without saying it. Like cover it and say, "Oh, he did this. That must mean he is this kind of person." Without having to say I am good at this. The things you do, the things you say, try to cover it and make them think, "Oh, since he's done that, maybe he should be good at this." Things like that. You gotta be smart. How long do you have to work for Bank Negara after finishing study? All right. So Bank Negara has a policy. Every 1 year you're funded by them, you have to work for 2 years. So just say you have 2 years of A-levels plus 3 years of degree. That's a total of 5 years. 5 times 2 is 10. So you will serve a 10-year bond with the Central Bank of Malaysia. That's how it works. And if you choose to break the bond halfway through, you will have to repay the remaining bond you owe based on how many years left. And I think that will have to be discussed later on. But I don't think you should think about worrying about working for the bank, because I think it's a very good experience. Come on, it's the Central Bank of Malaysia. They literally govern monetary policy. They advise the bank, they advise the government, and they even offer you chances to go work with the World Bank, International Monetary Fund. And who knows? You might say, I want to leave the bank, I just want to study. But after those 10 years, you might like working at the bank, and you might want to continue getting a higher position and working at different parts and different countries around the world. Who knows? Is there any other question? In any group interviews, what is the best way to tackle the interests of the interviewer? Group interviews. Well, in group interviews, for Bank Negara's group interviews, it's just a case study, so far as I know. So the interviewer technically does not ask you any question. Only at the end, when they have a Q&A session, the interviewer is just there to assess your team and how they present the problem. But in general, in a group interview, what's the best way to tackle the interests of the interviewer? I would say in a group interview is teamwork. Of course, this is not for Bank Negara, for other cases as well. Maybe you should concentrate on working together as a team to solve questions, facilitating options for your teammates to talk about. Maybe that would be a better way if it's not a group case study, but a group interview. Working together. Any tips to avoid being nervous in interviews? We had this in the earlier session as well. All right. So to avoid being nervous in interviews, I would say the first thing you have to do is practice talking in front of the mirror. Look at yourself when you talk. Is this how I want to look? Is this how I want to present myself? Once you're comfortable with how you look when you talk, how you sound, once you're comfortable with that, you're confident with that, that's the first half done. Okay? Because when I was presenting last time, I would look at the camera. I would look at my image, in the corner of the screen. And because of that, I'm not looking into the camera. Technically, I'm not focusing on you. I'm looking at myself. That's not good. Once you've got that down, practice talking with people. Like I said, your parents, your friends, your teachers. Your teachers are very good. When you practice interview with them, right, they're really honest with you. Okay? Your friends might be like, you're okay, you're good, bro, you're fine. But your parents and your teachers especially, right, especially the teachers that are strict, they will tell you immediately, sit up straight, talk like this, don't say that, You're mentioning this too many times. I used to say the word too many times. So then they tell you, stop saying that. We don't like it. And then you're like, okay, I won't say that anymore. After you've got that done, record yourself. Record yourself talking and play back and watch. What are the mistakes I do? Do I take too long of a pause here? Do I talk too fast? Talking slow is important. Talking calmly, composedly, and confidently is also very important. Once you talk enough, it comes to you. At the start, you will rush. You will say, okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Akil Kishan Lee. So today we'll be talking about this one. No one can understand you. Once you realize you're doing that, then you calm down. You tell us, all right, let's talk slowly. Talking slowly as well gives you time to think. If you get stuck, right, and you talk slowly, like some politicians you can see, right, they go on stage, they talk really slowly because it also gives them a time to think so that they don't say something wrong. You know, if a politician says something wrong, right, they're in a lot of trouble, you know. Exactly like you, when you're in an interview, don't say anything wrong. So take your time, calm down and talk slowly. All right? I think that's how you can avoid being nervous. Practice, gain confidence.
Yeah, hi, does Mara YTP only sponsor for medical course, MBBS and pharmacy? Basically for Mara YTP, they sponsor for MBBS and pharmacy for tailors. Then you still can apply to overseas university. Just check out Mara website once they open like that. Any other questions?
Adik-adik ada nak tanya apa-apa lagi soalan ke? Macam tak ada dah ke? Okay. Semua dah scan attendance Alright, rasanya dah tak ada soalan. So kita dah sampai ke penutup. Alright. Okay, pasukan tailors, saya Hasrina, Wana Sharifah Normawati and Akil. Kami sangat berbesar hati untuk membantu adik-adik dengan lebih lanjut. Okey, bagi pelajar SPM yang akan menerima keputusan SPM pada 8 Jun nanti, lagi seminggu, right? So, saat-saat yang dinantikan dah hampir tiba, di mana kita akan tahu usaha dan ketekunan adik-adik dapat diukur melalui keputusan yang akan dapat nanti. Kami ingin mengucapkan all the best, selamat maju jaya, good luck kepada semua atas pencapaian yang telah dicapai sepanjang menjalani atau masa adik-adik go through SPM tahun ni juga. Okay, walau apa pun keputusan yang diterima, ingatlah bahawa ia hanyalah satu penanda dalam perjalanan pendidikan adik-adik. Terima apa sahaja keputusan dengan hati terbuka kerana setiap keputusan mempunyai potensi yang boleh membawa ke arah yang lebih baik. Okay. Kalau keputusan itu menggembirakan, sambutlah dengan baik. Jika ianya tidak, terima dengan seadanya dan cuba lagi. SPM is not it's not only the level that you can go for further studies. SPM is not the only macam takkan terhenti kat situ. Alright. Kami percaya bahawa setiap pelajar ada potensi. Adik-adik ada potensi yang hebat dan berbakat. Jangan berhenti pada satu keputusan peperiksaan semata-mata. Kami dah bagi, kita dah berkongsi pelbagai jenis beasiswa. Diharapkan adik-adik ada hasrat dan teruskan perjuangan untuk sambung belajar dan capai apa yang adik-adik inginkan. Akhir kata kami ingin mengucapkan semoga keputusan SPM anda mencerminkan segala usaha dan potensi yang anda miliki. Dan terima kasih, tahniah sekali lagi untuk pelajar SPM 2023. Okay, kita bagi quote sikit, okay. Belajar adalah satu pengembaraan yang berterusan dan keputusan peperiksaan hanyalah satu hentian dalam perjalanan itu. Dia tak nak cakap sebagai hentian, kita cakap macam sebagai obstacle. Tapi adik-adik just go through whatever the obstacle, obstacle tu, just go through with your further study. Selamat berjuang, teruskan belajar, jangan berhenti belajar, okay. Sebelum tu, kami daripada Tailors, kami harap dapat menjumpa anda ke kampus Tailors State Lakeside dan sehingga itu sampai jumpa nanti. Jaga diri, jaga kesihatan, semoga memperoleh keputusan yang membanggakan pada 8 Jun nanti. Terima kasih adik-adik. Bye-bye.